Okay, my name is Emile Davis, and I'm a villager from Challengers Village, most historic village in St. Kitts. The history of Bloody Point is where a decisive battle between the English, French, and the Carib natives was fought to get position, because seeing that the English and French divided the island to suit themselves, now the stumbling block would have been the Caribs, who would not have been cooperating with them, maybe to get enslaved. So they had to find a way out to win over, and then they themselves fought against each other, and the English was victorious. But of course, because if I was not connected, I could have been living in the US. Yeah, see, I'm a lover of history, I'm a lover of plants, well, animals to a certain extent, but I don't have time to be with animals, but I love nature very much. In my younger days, a lot of my friends and colleagues, who most of them migrated, some passed on too, but they migrated to different parts of the world. At certain intervals, we'll take walks right through the forest, from one point connecting to another point, so we would have known what's happening up there. Probably somewhat following some of my father's footsteps, because he had loved the same things. And but people were compelled to do some things. That is one of the reasons why some persons were connected also. It was a way of life, so you wanted to exist. So if you want to exist, you had to toe the same line. But times have changed significantly over the past decades or so. Absolutely important, because it gives us a trace of our history. For instance, in that gorge above behind us there, you have some Carib rock carvings, which I really think should be preserved. And use, the site should be developed, like the entrance road, so that it could get guided towards the visitors, and it could create employment for people. There are a multiplicity of things could happen. But in Challengers recently, we formed a group called the Challengers, I think it's Improvement Society. On the holiday weekend past, we had a homecoming. It developed from the local basketball team winning the championship, the senior championship. So those who are following from overseas, who are based overseas, they sort of encouraged it. But it was an idea that was played around, not by myself and a number of others for a long time, but we never really put it into being. But I'm hoping that now that something has started officially, we could move on. And one of the aims, again, I suggested to them that we try to get the road, the entrance road, cleared and properly kept. And as I mentioned earlier, could employ people as guides to bring visitors here and take them to and from safely. I saw something in Barbados which I feel we could copy from. When you go to visit Harrison's Cave, they have in that gully or that valley, you have, and by the way, they don't even have trees like us. Given the geography of Barbados, it's not like us. But what I've done, I like it very much. They have a little development there, which is a restaurant, a gift shop, and some other amenities. So that when you go to the cave, and when you exit the cave, you could refresh yourself before you go back to your destination. Well, nowadays, nothing is impossible in terms of construction. heavy equipment could get somewhere above here. This slope used to be used as an agricultural area, as I said, mountain ground. Cane used to be planted there all year clock, but you know, over time you're going to get a lot of erosion, soil erosion because of the steepness of the slope. Or maybe something could build within the environment. Something like what I saw in Barbados. You know, like they have these lodges in the United States. Not on a grand scale like that, but something built within our environment. And I think they say in Fiji, in fact I've seen some photographs with Fiji, where hotels have to be built within the environment. So we could do something like that. It could be something that people could stay overnight or whatever. Once you have everything in place, like security, etc. When St. Kitts Nevis hosted Carib Festa a few years ago, a ceremony was held on the playing field at Stoneford Pasture, as we call it now, but the original name used to be Granny King. And it was a service of atonement. I attended it because, as I say, I'm very curious and interested in things like these. But the Bible talks about atonement, you know, service of atonement. So to me, there's some crossover or mix of Christianity with other religions. Okay, this might have been one of them. And the Caribs, the native Caribs from Dominica, well, actually, some of them actually offspring from St. Kitts. But they danced in fire, barefooted, and then they went in the sea to bathe. But they say when they do it in Dominica, they're going in a river because they have a lot of rivers. And when we were nodding, getting sleepy, we were given a drink called Cassidi. I think it's spelled C-A-S-I-D-I, something like that. But it is made from roots and barks from whatever trees. Tastes nice, not chill. You got to drink it natural. And you take a normal drinking glass, you've got a paper cup, and when you drink that, it like restore you. You're no longer sleepy. But you last for about 2 hours. Then you might be nodding again. But then they gave you half the original amount. So whatever it is, you're not supposed to take too much. So then, but after the second amount, you're not supposed to take any more. So that was rather interesting. And then they came up with the high priest. The high priest, there was a high priest from Suriname. But, okay, their complexion is different. I mean, but they're same Kalinago people. But they said that they could feel the vibration of the spirits. Now, I've known of other people saying that too. But during the service, a party came up here and they said they're going to put the spirits to rest because the spirits were wandering for these hundreds of years. Now, I would enlarge on this a little bit because now that they've said that, I believe because of what a number of us have seen in the past, because on the other side of the Stoneford playing field where you have a housing development, we used to go there to, we say, break cane when he was on the sugar cane, when we were playing with a football or cricket, and we go there to look cane. On a couple of occasions we would have seen what we think the Caribs used to look like. And then like you can't move, like it kind of dumb you. You're trying to cry out, call out, but nobody could hear you. So like the person grinning, but the same kind of head, shape head. Because they say when the Carib children born, they shape the head how they wanted them. But they came here and they said they put them to rest. We were told when we were told about the West Indian history and about Bloody River episode, that all the Caribs were killed. But after I got a little older, I used to say, no, I can't believe, because even in war, anyway in war, everybody don't get killed. Unless you had a massacre of a particular area. But people often retreat. And the Caribs told us there are some names of some Caribs in Dominica on the reservation, originated from St. Kitts. I never seem to remember the two names, but one is indelible, and that is the name Langley. But I normally talk about this thing a bit, and I've come across some Langley. The Langley is well, I knew one person when I was going to school, but the person migrated somewhere, I don't know where. But I know they had some in Bastia, in McKnight area, in Keon, and in Sadlers. The last Langley I get to know was in Sadlers. But looking at the Langley, you could see, look at the face, you could see a bit of the Carib. He's more dark skinned, but you could see, and then getting deep into the discussion, he told me who his forerunners were. So you see, they came from Carib background. Okay? There were the people around too. I remember Mr. Lamb, when he was alive, said that he from Carib back. He was a half Carib. Yeah. And he had some others around. Can't recall them right now. So, you see, we're full of information, but the information want to be developed and properly and put it in some good form so that not just our own people, but it's more important for our people to know, but visitors could know exactly, as close as possible, what happened during the time people came from the other lands to join the Caribs on St. Kitts. A long time ago, when we read about it, it was some sort of fantasy. But then after a while, we used to say, well, oh, Europeans come and they take over the land and they do this and do that. But I have a different perspective nowadays. And my perspective is that, well, I believe that these things were part of God's plan.